Good morning, happy Thursday, and happy leap year day. An event that occurs once every 4 years, and today's that day. So, before I get into talking about today, and quite frankly, February 2024 at large, let's get to my low, my high, my active kindness. My low is that it got cold out. Yeah, we literally just got a cold front starting like yesterday evening, and it's already showing. There's kind of weak snow flurries. I mean, nothing's really sticking to the ground, but I definitely expect today to be kind of dreary, if that's the word for it. But again, any day is, any day can be good or bad depending on how you feel, which is actually a large theme for today's video, but I'll get to that momentarily. My high is I got to spend the evening with my dad. Actually, here's another thing about my low too. My mom was working yesterday. I really did want to see her, but she took so long to get home, I just couldn't wait, and plus, I had to get here, so didn't really get a chance to see my mom. I did talk to her though, which is good. And my act of kindness was I brought the garbage cans back in. I emptied the dishwasher for my folks. And when doing laundry, I guess I cleaned the lint trap too. I mean, it's not really. In some ways, it really is an act of kindness, but honestly, it's really more of a safety hazard. But with all that's done, let's get into the main theme for today and quite literally this whole month for me. Perspective. If there was one word that could describe this month for me, February 2024, it's perspective. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, or maybe even one hater out there, in which, because here's the thing, before February 2024 began, I boldly proclaimed I had the best 6 months of my life. At some point, someone's going to be out there thinking that streak is going to end. And I will admit, if the month of February ended quite literally after Valentine's Day, that person might actually be right. But it didn't. And because of that, that's why the word perspective comes into play. Everything, both good and bad, that happened throughout the course of this month needed to happen for it to be the month that it was. Let's take a look at, I don't have the computer. And in case anyone's wondering what happened on Valentine's Day, straight up, a series of events that took place over the span of several years, that's right, years, made me finally just break down and cry. Because for 34 years in a row, I was single on Valentine's Day. Now, again, if someone was thinking if this month ended after that, they'd probably be right. That streak of X number of months in a row, that ends. But it needed to happen. Listen, for all intents and purposes, I'm still going to be happy for those who found love on Valentine's Day. I'm not going to feel, that melancholy over that. It's just, it's 34 years being single. You're going to reach your breaking point. If you don't reach your breaking point by then, you either are made of stone or you really are that heartless. Honestly, the fact that I got to break down and cry and have a really good cry It's exactly what I needed. It is absolutely everything I needed in that moment in time. Not that I realized it right away, mind you. I've had several days to think and talk things over. And it was awesome. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, for me to just, like, if getting into my car and just crying is the worst thing that happened in this month, that's actually pretty good. I mean, I could go into a whole spiel about how there are people who are much less fortunate than me, and there are, who have it much worse than what I did. But, again, it's perspective. You know, after that moment, I allowed to be thankful for the people in my life who care about me and love me. And in the end, that's what this whole month has been for me. I've got a new perspective. I have a new lease on life. And sure, chances are 1 year from now, or 1 year from Valentine's Day, I could very well be single for a 35th year in a row. Well, chances are I won't feel as sad. There won't be a need to break down and cry because, you know, like, when I tell you I cried. Like, I let out like 34 years of just heartache, heartbreak, grief. It needed to happen. I needed to let it all out. And I feel great for it. You know, I mentioned earlier that my computer got busted. Well, I adapted. You know, I thankfully had an old phone and I was able to use that when I needed to. The weather's been completely crazy. I've been able to adapt to that as well. And again, for the most part, those problems really aren't bad so much as they are inconvenient or just plain annoying. Which is good because it makes the good of this month outweigh all the bad more. I mean, think about it. Back in January, pretty much every Saturday, I was away from my family. Like, the first weekend in February was the first time I got to spend, you know, Saturday nights going to church and dinner with my family. I mean, yeah, I went to disco night that one Saturday, but again, that's like one Saturday out of 4 away from my family is a lot better than like, you know, 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 Saturdays away from my family. And it was nice to be able to see, like, go out to dinner with my mom, my dad, and watch my nephews again. I mean, granted, my nephew's behavior in a restaurant isn't exactly what you would consider, you know, high class, but I got to be with family. And, you know, I mentioned how bad Valentine's Day was, but again, you know, I feel I needed that. I needed to let it all out. I needed to have that happen. And I feel I got to let out all my feelings. I feel better about that now. I can put on my bootstraps and move on. You know, disco night happened. You know, I got to get my groove on. You know, that was a lot of fun. You know, I got to be, you know, it was exactly the night out I needed. You know, scat and scatty. You know, got to scat, and I won scat. I actually won. That's insane. A game that quite literally I learned just over a month and a half, like just around a month and a half prior. And I won my very first game of scat. Now, granted, I probably used up all the luck I'll ever have for the rest of my life winning that one game. But you know what? I can say I got a win under my belt. Can't be mad about that. And plus winning $27 is pretty sweet. Every other Sunday I got to be with, well, every Sunday I got to see my dad. But every other Sunday I got to have a family dinner with my parents, my grandparents, my brother, my sister-in-law, my nephews. And even though I never really say it out loud or even think it, those are the kind of moments that make life worthwhile. And again, there are some people who sadly don't have that kind of luxury. There are some people that don't have both of their grandparents, or there's some people who don't have a sibling, or nieces or nephews or in-laws. There are some people who sadly don't have a mother or father anymore. It's very sad, very tragic. And if you are one of those people, my heart goes out to you. It can be hard without that kind of thing, but it just makes me more thankful for what I have. And, it took letting out all my feelings to just see everything a little more clearly. I mean, do I wish what happened on Valentine's Day happened? Of course not. But it did. And I was able to prove how resilient I've become over the years. So, I'm actually kind of grateful that it happened. Although, with that being said, I do have a new vow, and that is Valentine's Day 2025, not me getting in my car and crying, that's not going to happen. I'm going to make sure that's not going to happen. Even if I am single again, you know what? I'm not letting that be me. Just be in a car crying and just thinking why no one's ever going to love me. That's not going to be me. Never again. And it takes a level of perspective to realize that. And speaking of perspective, I mean, it's leap year day, guys. Today's a day that happens once every 4 years. Like, think about it. 4 years ago, no one ever would have thought the pandemic would have happened. 4 years ago, no one would ever have thought that, I never would have believed that I would get to know the Blythe family like I do now. 4 years ago, I wouldn't know what self-love is, and therefore I'm able to wear this ring on my right ring finger, because self-love is one of the symbols for having a ring on your right ring finger. I mean, look, I'm not going to talk about everything that happened over the span of 4 years, because good God, I've already done that with day 1000 and day 2000. 4 years, that's just too long. I'm not doing that. So don't worry. What I can do, though, is talk about everything that's going to be coming up in the month of March. I mean, we're still in Lent. I mean, we're over 2 weeks into Lent already. That's pretty good. I mean, I've always said, if the winter blues got you down, just make it to March, and we have a chance. Well, tomorrow's March 1st. And because of that, we enter a new month. Rita's is going to be opening tomorrow. Very excited about that. Let's see. One of my all-time favorite holidays, St. Patrick's Day. That's going to be in the month of March. Although, for a lot of people who are expecting to party on St. Patrick's Day itself, you may have to go a little bit easy because St. Patrick's Day is on a Sunday. Again, leap year day. Let's see. My grandfather's birthday is on the 9th. And that's going to be a Saturday. So that should be a fun weekend. That should be a very fun weekend. I guess the only thing to really talk about now that I haven't talked about already is, well, the very end of March. I mean, you've got the weekend of Palm Sunday, where, over the years, I've kind of gotten used to having to read the entirety of the Passion on Palm Sunday. But, and I'll say this the weekend of Palm Sunday as well, if you really want to watch or read the Passion anything, just watch the South Park episode, Passion of the Jew. It's funnier. But Easter. I mean, I am a little bit annoyed that technically because of the fact that this year is a leap year, Easter's going to be on March 31st instead of April 1st. I've always been the kind of guy that preferred having Easter in April just because even if it was April 1st, like you're still like that much closer to summer, the end of the school year. For me, it'd be going back up to Yucca Lake at this point. Like, I know one day doesn't seem like a whole lot, but you're talking about 2 different days in 2 different months. So, yeah, in a way, it does kind of make a difference. But that's a necessary evil. I mean, again, I'm gonna be celebrating Easter with, the Blythe family. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be fun. Can't wait for that. Yeah. On the whole, February 2024, it was a pretty damn good month. A great month even. So now I can officially say this has been the best 7 months of my life. I feel very confident in saying that. Not that this month was perfect, mind you. But again, perspective. These things everything both good and bad that happened during this month, it needed to happen to make the month that it was. And looking back on everything, I'm extremely thankful for it. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say I am ready for this month to be over. So, happy leap year to everyone. Cheers to another 4 years. Hopefully they won't be filled with the misery and woe of another pandemic. But, that's fine. And you know what this reminds me? I remember Liam of the Grand Line Review talking about this regarding the very end of regarding when the Wano arc ended in One Piece. He said, over the span of several years, the personality of someone can change dramatically, or a person can change dramatically. I can tell you for a fact, I'm a much different person now than when I was last time we had a leap year. So, yeah. You know what? Just like the month of this past month, everything good and bad that happened over the last 4 years, it needed to happen. Because it wouldn't be where I am now. Where I am right now isn't perfect. But I have to say, it's pretty sweet. So I hope you all like this video. If you did, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, I'm very homely this video. For all of you guys watching, enjoy today. We'll be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thursday. Happy leap year day, everyone. Remember, if you guys want to talk to me, we're here to lend us back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby. Oh yeah, I forgot. Another cool thing about the month of March, I get to wear this again. Take care.